Welcome one and all to another amazing night here in Tranquility.
We absolutely are in for a treat of a match here tonight, no question about it.
And the grenade from Pomku, eliminating everybody on the field.
Now I'm doing something as well. It's going to be applied as a death block from, and it's going to be huge. Fighting three.
The double kill with the Bastion ulti? Alright, I see you guys.
For B-Well, look to find a stick there, finds the stick, they find two with it!
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
And Cam with the four-man punch off the map!
Experience tranquility.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Tranquility, where we have a battle of undefeated teams here in the Ascendant Tier. It's Reckless Alpha versus Chicago Deepdish. My name is Dexatron, and I am joined here by Clock tonight. Clock, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Dex. How about yourself tonight?
Man, I had to deal with Dahlia most of this morning and afternoon, but now it's finally starting to go away from me now, so everything is much better than it was this morning.
Well, we will pray to our various gods for your power not to go out during the stream.
Oh, that's a Caster's curse and a half right there. But I mean, hey, we're coming into a great series here tonight. Chicago Deepdish swept Bubble Tea last week, and Reckless Alpha was 3-1 winners over Bonkers there. So between these two teams have only really dropped one map. So this could be a really good matchup here tonight.
Yeah, it should be. Honestly, if I was placing bets on this game though, I would heavily favor Deepdish. They came in after winning the preseason tournament, so they are riding high after getting a sweep in week 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And Deepdish is already kind of built like one of those teams that is destined to make a deep run in the playoffs when they come here at the end of the season. They have 10 players on their rosters. I know that's probably not the most here in the Ascendant Tier, but you know, having a whole another squad sitting on your bench allows a lot of flexibility to be that can come in for your different comps and stuff. However, when you look at Reckless Alpha, they only have one person on the bench, and you know, that does give you some flexibility. I believe the sub would be for a tank if I remember correctly, but still, that allows a lot of flexibility for all these teams.
Yeah, that added flexibility is going to be nice, especially for Deepdish. If somebody is not performing up to their standards, they can easily plug and play and try to make those changes in order to get themselves on the right track. Whereas with Reckless Alpha, they really don't have that luxury, and they have to be confident in the 5 people they are putting in the server.
Yeah, absolutely. But when I asked both these teams' coaches about, you know, what we're kind of expected to see here tonight, Chicago Deepdish, they just told me that they have really been practicing a lot of that comp that we're seeing at a lot of the higher tiers of Overwatch here. That Orisa, that BAP, that Illari comp. DPS can kind of be whatever they want. They didn't necessarily tell me what they were playing there. So that kind of new comp that's been coming in with the introduction of Illari. But for Reckless Alpha, they said that they're a very flexible team. But they have really been focusing on a lot in dive lately here.
Well, that has its positives and negatives to be able to focus on that dive comp, but the problem is that Orisa Bapalari comp is very, very difficult to execute a dive on because they just have so much sustain and so much damage to be able to burst the divers really quickly. Your target focus has to be absolutely perfect in order to dive against that comp, and a lot of teams are running the Torbjorn with the Orisa comp to kind of dissuade teams from running that dive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes a lot of sense why you run that there. But just going down some of the questions here, one of the other things that the coach for Chicago Deepdish, Dabmaster, wanted to let us, or at least told me, they really expected GLD to have a good night here tonight, and they specifically said, watch out for GLD on the Sojourn. Apparently is a really good shot. when they are playing the Sojourn. So, kind of plays into, maybe you have the Torb there for focusing on the dive, and you have the Sojourn there on the front lines with that Orisa to kind of deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, I agree with what Dab said, though, about gold on the Sojourn. I watched them in the preseason finals, which I had the luxury of casting, and he was consistently getting the opening picks left and right against Volcanic, and he was definitely a standout player for them. He just would bring fights back from the brink of defeat, and suddenly he'd get 1 or 2 picks on an overclock, and suddenly the fight is theirs.
But on the other side for Reckless Alpha, they didn't name any players that we should be watching out here tonight for, but they did name a line that we should be watching out for tonight. That is their DPS line. They said that they've been putting in a lot of work, and they expect to show the Tranquility community what they have been working on here lately. But with all that out of the way, we do know our first map of the night here, Clock. We're going to be packing our bags, heading north of the border, and going to New Queen Street.
New Queen Street definitely is a good map to start out on. It's weird to see Push as the starting map this week instead of Control. We just have it naturally in our brains to expect Control, but this is actually going to be a really nice map to start out because you're going to see how well teams can disengage before they re-engage on each fight and see which team is going to be able to play smarter as well as have those mechanics.
Yeah, absolutely. New Queen Street, though, I feel like when you're talking about push maps, you don't see this one get picked a lot. I feel like it's very, you either see Coliseo or you see Esperanza. New Queen Street is kind of that third one that's there, doesn't get played a lot, and it might be playing into the hands of whichever team here picked it because they're probably expecting that other team has not practiced on it a lot.
Well, this isn't a picked map. This is kind of... This is just set by the league by the tournament, for this week. So neither team has chosen this, but I'm sure that both teams have been practicing this in scrims, knowing that this was going to be the first map all week.
Well, I completely forgot about that there. But, I mean, yeah, we're going to see a lot of different stuff here. And I haven't necessarily seen a lot with the new patch here. On New Queen Street. Again, in everything that I have seen, it has still kind of been favoring towards Esperanza and Coliseo here. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I feel like the Orisa can pretty much dominate here if they're able to get set up, because while the streets are very narrow, that kind of does play into an Orisa a little bit. They can just survive for so long compared to some of the other tanks in this game.
Yeah, a lot of teams on this Orisa Bapalari Sojourn comp are electing to go towards the hockey statue on that high ground because they want to take that fight there because there's good cover around the statue. There's spots for them to fall back to easily, and you don't want to take that low ground towards the bot and have the other team go high ground and just be able to poke at you with that comp. So we're going to probably see both teams look to fight towards the hockey statue here as the map opens up.
Yeah, speaking of poke, that was also another thing that the coach for Reckless Alpha, Coach Zed, did mention that they have been working on a little bit of a poke comp as well with their dive comp here. So maybe they might try to bring that out here a little bit as well. But still kind of waiting for both the teams here to get ready. Necessarily, I mean, we're coming into the series here, I already said, only one map drop between these two teams here. Yeah, it's only been 1 week, but that's still pretty good. 1-0 matchup, and you said you have put your money on Chicago Deepdish, but Reckless Alpha does have a good lineup here.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from Reckless Alpha. It's just I've seen more of what Chicago Deepdish can do because I have casted them at some point already heading into this season with the preseason final, whereas Reckless Alpha is a little less familiar to me. So obviously I'm going to lean a little more towards who I'm comfortable with, which is Chicago Deepdish.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like we're going to learn a lot about both these two teams here as we head into our first map. You've already said casted Chicago Deepdish in the preseason grand finals. They won that there, so already putting a giant target on their back, considering that probably made them the best team in this Ascendant tier at the start of the regular season. But looks like we're finally heading into map now, and we're going to get to see here shortly what each team is going to come out with to start.
Yeah. We have about 10 seconds, and then we can start to see what teams are coming out with. And I'm going to put money on the Orisa comp from at least one of them, if not both. But let's see if I'm proven wrong. Junker Queen. Oh, nope. Switching to Orisa.
Chicago Deepdish did not talk about potentially playing a Jumper Queen comp at all through anything that I talked with them about. So this is something that is kind of new to me, but I do kind of like it, especially with both teams going it. It definitely looks like Reckless Alpha is going to go straight to that Orisa comp that we were talking about.
For any of our viewers that are confused, even though the names are switched, Reckless Alpha is on the right, Chicago Deepdish is on the left on your screen.
Yeah, I just realized that too here, but it looks like you were absolutely correct there with your prediction that Deepdish was going to go up by that hockey statue. Reckless Alpha, though, wanted to take the catwalk there instead and try to fight for position on the low ground. You already see the healing pylon taken out there by Beat, but now it's essentially trying to find that first pick, and at the moment, Reckless Alpha is playing very safe, just hiding away from Deepdish. But it's going to be Spectre finding Dimitri out here first, and that is not who Deepdish wanted to see fall.
Yeah, losing your tank here early is massive because at that point you have no frontline presence and they can just push on in and try to clean up the rest of these stagger kills. But luckily we are going to see the back off here a little bit from Deepdish.
Yeah, Deepdish. Oh, just as we say that, and I was about to say, it looks like they all got out safely. You see the rest of them all die there. So yeah, Dimitri's going to be coming back, but the rest of their team will be just waiting in spawn here. And Reckless Alpha, off of that, will be able to get a lot of distance on this barrier.
Yeah, they're going to get a lot of progress here. Not going to quite get to the checkpoint as Deepdish should have another fight here. But watch Obese Chicken, already 75% towards that window. Going to look to farm that up and try to use that ultimate to stop this thing before it ever gets to the checkpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. Beat's getting incredibly low there for Reckless Alpha. It looks like they're trying to focus in on them right now. Deepdish going to take control of the bot here as Reckless Alpha just kind of safely falls back as you see another healing pylon just taken out there. But big GLD getting rid of the tank for Alpha this time. And a great start here for Deepdish. They want to try to turn into more here. GLD not able to get that disrupting shot through the door though, as you see Reckless Alpha safely back away.
This is something we see from Gold quite a bit, that ability to get the opening pick on the Sojourn, as Spectre is going in with the overclock.
Able to find one there on to Brent, trying to get Dimitri as well. Coach will take him out, but got a lot of help there from Spectre. Yet able to find Dab Master out there as well. And again, it's just everyone for Deepdish trying to run away, make sure they're not going to stagger themselves out here. And Gold in a very bad spot now, trying to get out. Same thing with Obese Chicken. They're trying to get out as well, using everything in their ability to try, but it'll be Astro Zerg finding GLD. However, we do see the ultimate coming out there from Brent. Won't be able to find anyone off of it.
Yeah, the captive stun there, just kind of forcing them to back off. As Drunk Queen's Rampage comes out, that's a big purple on Dimitri, but he's going to live with the Orisa halt.
Yeah, you see right there, Reckless Alpha able to get the forward spawns right now. This is a big thing for them. Dimitri does have the Terror Surge ready to go right now, but Chicago Deepdish, I mean, yeah, you could win a team fight here, but Reckless Alpha will be back into another team fight probably before spawns reset. But you immediately see them want to just go play this kind of safe. They're going to allow Dimitri to run away with the bot here and reset the spawns.
Yeah, with the spawns getting reset, it's not quite to half, but there it is. The Genji here with the blade. Keep an eye on the Genji as they might look to see if they can get something here as the halt coming through from the Terror Surge.
Doesn't find anyone there, and again it'll be Dimitri falling, followed by Gold there. Reckless Alpha, they've had a pretty good start to this map right now, really only losing one team fight. Yeah, they just gave up forward spawns, but they're gonna get them right back, and you're starting to see some swaps come out here from Deepdish.
Yeah, as the swaps come out, we're gonna see what they try to do differently. Like, they're switching over to the Lucio Junker Queen to try to match that. I don't personally know if this is a comfort thing for them, but I guess we'll have to see. Dimitri wasn't quite getting the value that they expected on the Orisa here, but let's see what happens as both Sojourns do have the overclock online.
Amplification Matrix coming out here from Coach on Reckless Alpha. Gonna try to get as much as they can from it, but here comes the overclock here from Gold, but it's gonna be Spectre finding Dimitri, and now they're popping their own overclock. They make it 2 there. Can I make it 3? Are they gonna be able to find 4? They're focusing in there on Gold. Not gonna be able to confirm the kill on them yet, but they're trying to get rid of this Immortality Matrix, and they're gonna be able to. It'll be a nice team kill here for Reckless Alpha.
Great fight there from Reckless Alpha, but a great individual pop-off from Spectre, just clicking heads with that overclock in order to send them all back to the spawn and be able to push this bot even further, as they're approaching now almost 90 meters.
Yeah, Deepdish needs to do something here, and they need to do something fast. Dimitri finding Astro Zerg there is a huge thing, but here comes the blade from Yit. They're trying to find whatever they can, but Obese Chicken finding the Bat Pool right there as well. And the blade not going to be able to find anyone as Dimitri finding 2. Obese Chicken and Dimitri carrying their team through that fight.
Well, that's kind of what you get for playing Genji in 2023. I can't say anything more about that. Dimitri just kind of had some good individual plays. Great plays there just to straight up deny the blade. A nice boop came out from Brent to send him backwards once he had already used dash. Unable to farm that reset, so unable to get any kills off of it.
Implicates metrics. Here comes the rampage from AstroZerg. Does it a couple people there, hits 4, and you see Obese Chicken fall right there because of it. However, Gold will be able to find AstroZerg back, so that's a huge pickoff here for Deepdish. They want to keep this fight alive. Beat coming out though from Protagonist right there to try to keep everyone for Alpha supported right now. Bot back in their control. Blade though coming out here from Dadmaster, immediately able to take out Spectre. Protagonist also out as well. Dimitri gonna be able to take care of Utrala. Gold gonna be able to take care of Coach, and now Deepdish gonna finally get some good distance on this bot.
Good fight there from Deepdish, but I am concerned about the fact that they had to invest 3 ults to win it. They didn't need the blade at the end. They were low enough that they just kind of could have been cleaned up, but on the other side, Reckless Alpha doesn't have any ults here, so right now Deepdish, with that rampage coming up, is in a much better position with no beat to stop it.
Yeah, and you see Dimitri here trying to get that rampage up as fast as they can because they definitely want to use it. Gold and Spectre really close to their own ultimates as well, but the rampage ready here for Dimitri. They're gonna pop it in a small room. They hit a couple people there, but they immediately die right after it. 3 kills already going their way forward. Spawns going Chicago Deepdish's way as well. And essentially in the last 2 minutes of this round, Chicago Deepdish has completely taken control of the momentum.
Very momentum-based game mode here with push, but the thing is now, Deepdish is out of ultimates. They got to try to build up the rest of this ramp, or this overclock, but Spectre already has theirs online with the window. We've seen what Spectre can do with that as the window comes out.
Yeah, Coach is putting on that high ground, really only using it for themselves, and look what it does to Chicago Deepdish. They are just playing around corners, respecting that ultimate right there. Gold, though, gonna be able to find Spectre in that backline, so no overclock ready for Reckless Alpha this time. Utrala, though, gonna be able to find Obese Chicken, so a lot of the healing for Deepdish out of this fight. Brent, so close to a beat, might not be able to use here. AstroZerg starting to take over, taking up 2 kills there. Dimitri, though, gonna shut down Protagonist. However, Reckless Alpha does have the numbers and will take control of the bot again.
Yeah, with the numbers coming out, the shout trying to get out, but doesn't matter. They're knifed back in, but a great immortality field right there coming out. Saves their Junker Queen's life, and right now Deepdish has 4 ults coming up in this fight. They're going to have the Queen ult and the Blade by the end of the fight. Alpha currently with DPS and tank and the Rampage here, but Brent does have that beat to match the Rampage, so we're going to see what happens here.
Overclock coming out here from both Soldierns right now, but this time again it'll be Spectre winning it, and they immediately find Brent off that, so no beat available as well. Reckless will only need to use the overclock in this team fight to win it right now as Obese Chicken falls, and now Dimitri in a very bad spot. It's a 5v1 situation there. Dimitri falls, and that will be bot back in control of Reckless.
Great job there, only needing 1 ult to win it. It looks like Gold popped theirs during that fight too. They didn't seem to get any value out of it though.
They popped them at the same time, and it was essentially Spectre finding them right away. That was the first pickoff they found, and that kind of put the entire momentum of that fight back into their favor here. But now you definitely see Reckless Alpha here want to try to maybe get those forward spawns back. 4 ultimates ready for Deepdish. 4 about to be ready for Alpha here, but you immediately see the damage bridge come out here, and Obese Chicken immediately able just to melt down AstroZerg there. The immortality field coming out here, only going to prolong the life of Coach there just for a little bit longer. The knife throw not going to be able to land onto that, but in the end, Deepdish using 1 ultimate, able to get control of this bot again.
Yeah, using only 1 ult is huge. Both teams having Rampage and Beat online. We're going to see the Lucios look to hold the Junker Queens hostage and vice versa. So it's going to be a matter of trying to force the beat out from either team to look for a good Rampage.
Yeah, both teams do have a Blade ready to go as well, so maybe one of the Blades comes out here and try to force out the beat, and that's exactly what happens. Everything's coming out here for Reckless Alpha. They are putting a lot into this fight. The Blade coming out here from Dadmaster via Utrala, though, only one to find something so far. They're onto GLD. Deepdish, though, did use their beat in that fight as well. Dimitri still has their own Rampage ready to go. It hits 3. They need to be able to find some kills off the back of this. They're not being able to find any yet. Protagonist solo. Utrala will eventually fall there to Brett. Now Protagonist trying to run away, not going to be able to get shut down there by Dimitri. AstroZerg there with a huge kill there onto Dadmaster. Deepdish trying to just push this bot up the hill, because you can see how far they are away. 12 meters, only about 30 seconds left to go though.
Yeah, the picks are in their favor, but the spawns are not. The spawns are right there, and they should be able to get back in here and recontest in time as they move to the high ground and start to head towards the bot.
A lot of abilities coming out here for both sides right now. Dangerous out, but GLD able to find a huge kill there on the Utrala. Dimitri finding Coast, but you immediately see Protagonist take care of Obi's chicken. However, someone for Deepdish needs to be able to touch the bot right now. They're gonna be able to do that. And again, Dimitri finding 2 there. That's exactly what they need now. Just get rid of Protagonist, and you might be able to win this map. No one there to stop you, but you do see Utrala come back out on the Tracer. Azrazark swapping over to the ball as well. Coach coming out on the Kariko. Anything just to try to win one team fight, gets Deepdish off this spot.
Yeah, with the overclock coming out here, the beat also to support gold. This should be it for Deepdish. He's got too much health and too much damage, and everybody is going to fall over like dominoes.
Spectre used their own overclock there, not able to find anything with it this time. And Chicago Deepdish with that come from behind win here on New Queen Street to put them up in this series 1-0.
Even though Deepdish here is taking a 1-0 lead, Reckless Alpha is playing this so much closer than I would have expected. So props to Reckless Alpha on that, and particularly Spectre just completely out-dueling gold on the Sojourn when it comes to these OC battles. Just constant value.
Yeah, I believe there's only 1 or 2 times where gold was able to get the head up there onto Spectre. So Spectre was doing a lot, but again, in my opinion, it really came down to those tank battles. We saw it there at the first fight. It was Chicago Deepdish losing their tank to start it all off, and you immediately saw what that did there for Reckless Alpha. They're able to push the bot almost about halfway to the forward spawns, and then it was basically, you know, whose tank would fall first, which team would lose their tank, maybe have a DPS overextend a little bit. Both teams are very good at backing out of fights they know they have no chance of winning.
Yeah, pretty much the disengages have been attempted for both teams, but the problem with this Junker Queen Lucio comp is it is really hard to disengage because they can just re-engage onto you and chase those staggers, especially if it's your Junker Queen or your Lucio that is dead. That just neutralizes how much speed you actually have to get out and makes it really easy to get staggered.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both these teams did a really good job of that. I mean, Reckless Alpha did a good job at making sure that Chicago Deepdish, I believe the 2 or 3 times that they were trying to disengage, made sure that they did not do that. Biggest one, going back to that first team fight again, they got everyone just as Dimitri was coming back into the fight, and it really worked out for them there. But, you know, Reckless Alpha, they had all that momentum there at the start. And, you know, got the bot push up a pretty decent amount of the way. However, with about 5.5 minutes left, that was the last time they really had a good control of the bot and were pushing that barrier any further.
Yeah, definitely at one point the momentum shifts were actually kind of going back and forth. Like at first it was a good start, but then just the comeback. Once you seize momentum and push, it is really hard to relinquish it. If you give up an inch, the other team can quickly take a mile and snowball fight after fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's definitely what happened here. Once Chicago Deepdish was easily able to win a team fight, I mean, it worked out great for them, because then you had another engagement where it was basically, you know, they lost, or Reckless Alpha lost their tank, and that was basically the forward spawns going to Deepdish. But we know what our second map of the night is. We'll be heading to Hollywood here.
Hollywood's an interesting one here because there's so much you can play on this. With Reckless Alpha picking Hollywood in particular, though, they did mention that they were working on dive comps, so I wouldn't be shocked here to see the dive comp coming out from Reckless Alpha, particularly on first and second point. You know, trying to dive anybody that's separated. Sometimes you see supports that like to play in the little cafe, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a dive onto them, but it all depends on what Deepdish is running here. If they're running something very clumped up, such as the Junker Queen or the Orisa, Reckless Alpha could have a really hard time jumping into that on a dive.
And interesting enough, we have actually both these teams played Hollywood in week 1 as well. And I can tell you that Chicago won that map 1-0. So they were able to full hold the team they were playing. I believe it was Bubble Tea on the first point. And then that was really all they needed. Reckless Alpha, though, that was a close one based off the score sheets. A 3-2 win for them there. So they had to fully complete the map there to win Hollywood first time around here. So it seems like Chicago Deepdish, they have a very solid defense when we're just looking at the stats that I kind of was able to find for these teams last week. Reckless Alpha, though, it seemed like it was a little bit of a back and forth matchup for them last week here on Hollywood, but they both came out with a win in the end. So they have some experience, and maybe, like you said, Reckless Alpha has been practicing that dive comp. Maybe they have been practicing the dive comp specifically to try to get a leg up on a map here like Hollywood.
Yeah, this is about one of the few maps in the pool that I can really see Dive working on. So, well, this and Pariso. So I feel like they could have picked either one of these two hybrid maps, and it would have actually had a decent chance for them to run Dive. But especially on second, there's two separate high grounds, so you definitely want to try to run a comp that can actually contest the high ground here on Hollywood, because otherwise the other team is just going to sit up there and rain fire on you from multiple angles.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we see the Winston dive. The Diva has came back into effect a little bit here with this recent patch, and I honestly do love to see that a little bit. I feel like Diva is a really fun tank to play, a really fun tank to cast, and especially because just the maneuverability of Diva and just the kit that she has, able to do a lot there with it. But, I mean, we could still see, some anti-dive comps here. Maybe even, Chicago Deepdish is going to attempt to do that Orisa Bapillari comp here again. They didn't have a lot of success with it though when they went up against Reckless Alpha's Junker Queen Rush comp there last time.
Well, I don't know how much time they've actually had to practice this Bapillari comp with the Orisa, especially because unless they had agreed with their opponent to be able to run it last week, they didn't have the Bapillari as an option for their last match, which means they would have had at most like 4 or 5 days worth to scrim it, and who knows how much scrim time these teams are actually getting. So they might just not be as practiced on it yet, and it might be a week or two before we see teams start to truly get comfortable with this comp.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was really interesting to see a lot of teams here in the Ascendant Tier last week actually, doing those handshake agreements saying, hey, we want to play Illari this week. And I feel like the one stream that I watched last week, they had done that agreement, and then I believe Illari only came out about 2 times during it. So it was still a lot of that newness, a lot of that just trying to understand how to actually play the character in some comps, going up against people who are running comps that know what they're doing with it.
Yeah, I think right now, just because it is so new and teams are still getting used to it, and this is something we see in the Overwatch League with teams still getting used to it, like a lot of teams are going to fall back towards more comfort, what they know that they can be successful on compared to trying something new. But that does put them at a significant disadvantage for teams that do practice this new playstyle with the new hero.
Absolutely, but look at what Reckless Alpha is coming out here with right now. They're coming out with that dive comp, but it's with the Diva instead of the Winston, and I do like it. Like I said, I feel like her kit is really good, and especially with everything that Deepdish is running right now, that eat ability that she has can do so much work against Deepdish's comp at the moment.
Particularly against the Illari, you mentioned the eat. Diva is one of the few heroes capable of eating the captive sun, so that's actually huge to be able to shut that ultimate down, which can be very high impact.
Yeah, absolutely, and you immediately see Brent there almost get taken out by those grenades there from Yatrala right there. But you immediately see Astro Zerka D-Mech. That's not what you want to see happen to your dive tank there. Brent going to be able to take care of them, and Reckless Alpha, I mean, they're going to still put up a little bit of a fight here, trying to get rid of Obese Chicken, but then immediately fall back out once Stab Master's able to take care of Spectre there. And now, again, a little bit of a swap coming out here from Reckless Alpha. Astro Zerka going over to the Winston instead.
He's going over to the Winston, but running it into Bapillari Hanzo is still not going to be a fun time. Honestly, the Diva is probably better here, but if it's more of a comfort thing on the Winston, I applaud him and I hope that it works out, but he's almost dead already.
He is really low and going to be taken out there by Gold. Yatrala trying to get whatever they can, but it'll be Obese Chicken taking them out here. And again, it's Reckless Alpha just falling back right now, not to stagger out anymore. However, Spectre will not be able to get out.
Yeah, unable to get out there as they are now pushed up to the spawn door trying to see if they can get any picks, but we should see Deepdish back off here. Right now, Dimitri very close to that Gravitic Flux, 85%. Reckless Alpha has nothing to stop that. They can just pick up the supports and poke at them and end the fight right away, so we should see Dimitri try to finish building up towards that Flux as a 3-man Bionade comes out.
Yeah, that's a huge one for them here, especially when they want to try to find a kill. Protagonist does have the Captain Sun ready to go, and Yatrala trying to get rid of that Sigma, but they're going to duplicate into it and immediately just get melted out there to that ultimate dead and gone faster than you can say it right there. Here comes the Captain Sun from Protagonist. Obese Chicken using their amplification matrix as well there. Brent can be able to carry Spectre. Protagonist, though, with 2 huge kills there. Gonna make it 3 for the Illari right now. Fight turning ultimate there for them.
Fantastic Captive Sun there just to be able to hit that core that was all stationed together, and fantastic play on the Nano Monkey, using that damage to be able to set off the chain reaction of explosions that ended up getting that 3K there.
Absolutely, and look what that does. I mean, Chicago Deepdish was pretty handily in control of that point up until that point. And now they're giving up this first point. Chicago Deepdish is in new territory for the first time here on Hollywood.
Yeah, finally getting into second point here after capping that and struggling for a few minutes. But the problem is they burnt through their ult economy to take that. And right now, Dimitri still has that Gravitic Flux online. So we're going to see what he looks to do with it. But I expect that we are going to see him go after the support line.
Gold able to find Neutrala, Dimitri able to find Protagonist right there. The Flux coming out here from Dimitri, trying to find whoever they can. GLD and Dimitri finding two there. Dabmaster trying to get rid of the last one. Gonna be able to take care of that healing pylon right there. And Dimitri will be able to find Spectre with a nice ricochet bounce with those rocks.
Yeah, getting the cleanups there as they start or to get pushed back a little bit. Deepdish having control of this high ground here is going to make it really hard for Reckless Alpha to try to push in. They have to do something to dislodge the Sigma from the high ground, but then you have Gold on a separate angle just poking down.
They do have the pulse bomb ready to go, throwing it out there, trying to find whoever they can. Will not be able to find anyone. Instead, be Coach finding Dabmaster right there. Gold still holding on to Bob here at the moment. That could be big, but OB's Chicken finding a nice trade there on to Afterzerg. You see what that does to Reckless Alpha? They're trying just to escape the high ground now, focus on the card a little bit here. Blake
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful midair rock there on the Nano Blade.
What an accretion coming out there, and Spectre not going to find anything because of it, and now they're worse for wear. Dabmaster going to be able to take them out. A huge play coming out from Dimitri.
Yeah, fantastic play there on the Sigma. They're doing a really good job here on second point to just try to deny them. And you know what? It's working because it is really difficult to dive that core on this second point high ground. First point was a little bit easier, but it's going to be a lot harder here on second point to try to dislodge them.
Absolutely, but look at what Reckless Alpha has ready right now. A duplicate and a Captive Sun. That Captive Sun was so big and pivotal for them the last time they were able to use it. It won them that first point. I'm not saying it will win them the second point, but you're finally seeing Bob come out here from Gold. It's in that little corridor, and it does force Reckless Alpha to kind of play a little bit differently, playing inside right now as Dimitri finds Spectre.
Yeah, Spectre goes down. That's going to basically limit any potential they have to set off the detonations. And basically, that's part of why you're playing the Genji here is that dash can easily set off the detonations, but not having it. And Brent just Ajax the Captive Sun.
No. Oh, Protagonist now has a great opportunity to use that Captain Sun, get a lot of value out of it. Again, Spectre falling a little bit early here. Dimitri, though, using that Flux, going to be able to find one. There was some help from Dabmaster, and now they're in a bad spot as they're being bullied by a couple members of Reckless Alpha right now, but Protagonist falling. They're still holding on to that Captain Sun as Deepdish has kind of stabilized this fight here a little bit. Oh.
Yeah. Deep Dish did stabilize, but Dabmaster getting slept, and you see Dimitri come in with the eat just to try to keep his Tracer up. Fantastic teamwork right there, but they are now in a rough spot.
Amplification matrix coming out in this small room. Neutrala gonna be able to find Dabmaster there on the duplicate there, but it'll be OB Chicken again, find them right back out after they get rid of that duplication there. And now 40 seconds left to go. That duplication was a huge ultimate, but you're still seeing Protagonists here hold on to that Captive Sun.
Yeah, we do see Yatrala switch over to the Tracer. I kind of like the Tracer here, but the problem is there's so much that can take you out. An Ash headshot or a double tap from the Alari takes you out, and just like that, they're dead. My point is proven.
Pulse Bomb coming out, and oh, Dabmaster almost about to be a meme right there, but able to keep themselves alive. Now it's Astrozerg here going up against, I believe that's Brent. The Captain Sun finally comes out, but instead of actually following up on it, they have to get out of the area and make sure they don't fall. Ob's Chicken, Dimitri picking up some kills here. That's huge as we head into overtime. Dimitri picking up another kill there on to Protagonist. No supports left for Reckless Alpha. Bob coming out for Gold. Right now, Dimitri and Dabmaster will clean it up and only allow Reckless Alpha to get 75 meters after the first point.
Fantastic defense on the second. Like, they were holding strong on first point until the ult from Protagonist, but they didn't make that same mistake there on second. They did not give Protagonist any good opportunity to go for the Captive Sun, and just being able to deny that high impact ultimate and then not being able to get the follow-up to set off detonations, just doing a really good job there. They pretty much denied any angle that Reckless Alpha tried to attack from. Like, it just was such a good comp to play there with the Sigma on second point, and my hat goes off to Deepdish. I'm not wearing a hat, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and you have to give Deepdish a lot of credit. They really made no swaps after losing that first point there, and it worked out for them greatly. I mean, not a lot of change. I think the only thing that really changed was, I think, Dab Master getting off of the Hanzo, going over to the Tracer. That was really the only swap we saw from them there. And that poke comp worked wonders for them, gave it Reckless Alpha there a lot of fits, to the point where it seemed like they really didn't know how to kind of counteract it, and were hoping for another big ultimate to maybe flip the momentum of that round.
Now here's the interesting thing because you mentioned the momentum. Both teams are kind of sticking with the same thing that they were doing, which is kind of interesting to see this same dive comp coming out here on the defense when you have a really high sustained comp from Deepdish.
I mean, it has to come down to what these teams really feel comfortable with running right now, and Deepdish coming out with what worked great for them, and they're probably feeling really confident this is going to work good for them again this round, especially after they're going to see Reckless Alpha here running a dive comp here on defense.
Yeah, and right there, Protagonist is dead. That's a lot of healing and damage down already.
Yeah, Coach can only do so much healing right now, and you see here, Obi's Chicken actually trying to 1v1 Astrazerg on that high ground. It will be Spectre finding Dabmaster, but ow! Oh, that nice sleep coming out there, but it will be Obi's Chicken eventually finding Spectre there. Astrazerg still not necessarily healed all the way up as Deepdish starts to take control of the point.
Yeah, as they start to get control of the point here, we're going to see Reckless Alpha look to stabilize before getting a touch in, as Astrazerg gets ready to leap onto the high ground and gets Obi's Chicken.
Huge pick for them as well. Brent can do a lot of healing, but really all has to come from that healing pylon right there. Dimitri going to be able to find Coach there. Dab finds Astrazerg, and now you see Chicago Deepdish slowly taking control of this fight again. And Dimitri going to end up taking the final 2 kills here as they take control of this first point. And with 5.5 minutes to go, all they need to do is push it about 76 meters, and they're up 2-0.
Yeah, 5.5 time back here is huge. Reckless Alpha has to play this almost perfectly. We see Protagonist going over to the Brig, and we're on Brig Bap, but you're on Brig Bap with a monkey. What is your goal here? What are you trying to deny with the Brig? I'm very confused by this swap.
Actually able to find Brent there. That's a nice pick off. But you do see Deepdish here just pushing up the card, and the flex coming out here from Dimitri, trying to find anyone they can. They actually land on 2 there. Immortality Field coming out, but Coach will not reach the ground fast enough to save himself. Astrazerg will be able to find Dimitri there to even things up, but Dabmaster immediately making up for their lost tank there, and Obi's Chicken taking care of the Brig.
Yeah, great picks here coming out from Deepdish as that card is moving towards the golden box of Victory. Does Reckless Alpha get a touch? Protagonist is on Lucio, but he's going to be all alone when he gets back. They're going to have to try to have any form, but they're not going to get there in time.
Yeah, Deepdish definitely really liked what they saw with this poke comp here, and Reckless Alpha was never necessarily able to figure out how to stop it. I mean, hell, we really only saw about 3 team fights that last round there.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense with the way that Deepdish just sees the momentum. I mean, they won first pretty convincingly and then just had ults to be able to cycle through the next 2 fights. So it doesn't really surprise me that we didn't really get to see much of a fight, as really there wasn't much of a fight to be had. Deepdish just played that exactly how they needed to and were able to stomp their way through.
Yeah, but this was a very different thing than what we saw on Map 1. Map 1 was really close. Reckless Alpha looked to be a team that might be able to give Deepdish some troubles, but Deepdish, I mean, they played a little bit slow. It took them about half of that first map of New Queen Street to kind of get going, and then once they got going, it was basically everything kind of flipped. Now it was Deepdish having that momentum, Reckless Alpha trying just to claw back whatever they could to try to stop that barrier. And in the end, it just didn't end up working out for them there. This map, though, it was easily one-sided to Deepdish. Yeah, Reckless Alpha was able to get that first point, but it came off the back of a huge Captive Sun there.
Yeah, right now Deepdish has all the momentum, but as we go into halftime, Reckless Alpha has time to make adjustments. They're going to have about 10 minutes to be able to figure things out and try to get Deepdish to cool off, because right now they are blazing hot.
Yeah, absolutely. But as we head into halftime, remember there is a second stream going on right now at twitch.tv/TranquilityGG2. That is, I'm trying to see who the game is there right now.
Blacklist, and I don't know who the other team is. I only know Blacklist because I play in that same org.
One moment here. I should have wrote this down.
Blacklist and Revitalize.
Yeah, so we're going to take a little bit of a break here, go over there, watch that stream for about 5 minutes, and then come right back here to watch the remainder of this series here. All right, welcome back, everyone, to this series between Chicago Deepdish and Reckless Alpha here right now. Chicago Deepdish one map win away from ending this series in another 3-0 sweep for them here, but Reckless Alpha looking to keep their own perfect season alive right now as well. Clock. I mean, we kind of talked about before we went to break here. First map was close, but Deepdish at the end of it picked up that momentum. Then you head into Hollywood, and it seemed like Deepdish never really let go of that momentum, but instead built upon it.
Yeah, like you said that they built upon that momentum, but here's the thing. After we just get through a halftime break, they might have cooled off. Reckless Alphas might have relooked at their game plan and might have figured out something to try to counteract what Deepdish is doing. And hopefully whatever it is they came up with worked. Hopefully they got something good going on in the coaching department over there at Reckless.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we kind of talked about before the series started here. Maybe they bring in a sub. Reckless Delta does have one sub. Compared that to what Chicago Deepdish has of a whole nother squad sitting, waiting in the wings. But right now, their team's looking great. I don't see any subs coming out from them. Maybe we see the one sub come in for Reckless Alpha. If I remember correctly, they were a tank sub. But I don't feel like the tank for Alpha has been doing bad so far either.
Yeah, nobody on Reckless Alpha has been fully doing bad. It's more of just what Chicago Deepdish is doing well. They're playing smart, they're playing as a team, but they're also getting some good mechanical plays out of all of their players. And right now, the combination of factors is just kind of helping them have the momentum as we get ready for our next map.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing, you know, with talking to the coaches here for these two teams, Dab Metzer straight up told me when I asked him, like, hey, who's the person on the other team that you're most watching out for? And they said they're watching out for AstroZerg. And the reason why is AstroZerg is a pretty big part of any future success that Reckless Alpha, will have. So they had to be watching out for them. And so far, they have been shutting Reckless Alpha down a decent amount.
Yeah, they've been shutting them down a decent amount. And we'll see if they end up continuing that momentum here and continue to shut them down here. As we get ready to go into Dorado is going to be our next map.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these two teams last week, both played Circuit Royale, and this was the only map type last week that Reckless Alpha dropped on Circuit Royale. They got beat, I believe it was 3-0 on Circle Royale for them. Chicago Deepdish won Circle Royale 1-0. So again, that defense for Deepdish here has been good to start this season. You head into Dorado here, you're definitely playing a different type of map here than what you see on Circle Royale. Again, this kind of map tends to be a little bit more divey than what Royale is.
Yeah, I think that's why we saw Reckless Alpha pick this, is just kind of them wanting to try to play that dive style that they said they've been practicing here. This is pretty much the best map that I can see them diving on, particularly first and second. Third isn't terrible for dive either. It's actually pretty decent for it. So we should see the dive here coming out for Reckless Alpha. But the question is, on the other side from Deepdish, what do we see? Do we see more of that Sigma Bapalari kind of poke anti-dive comp that they were running on Hollywood? And if they do, does it shut down the dive once again?
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If Chicago Deepdish expects Reckless Alpha to come back out here onto the Dorado running a dive comp, why change it up a little bit? But you immediately see them here teasing us with a Doomfist pick.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, especially with Deepdish being here on defense. Like, to come out on the Doomfist, like, we have a Doomfist, a Soldier, a Lifeweaver, like, what is this comp?
It's going to be interesting to see if it works. This might be more of a comp that Deepdish is running because they feel like they're so in control of this series right now that they're kind of waiting for Alpha to maybe have a response here right now. But you immediately see Dimitri on that high ground, while some of the members of Alpha here are trying to rotate around protagonists, and I believe Spectre are up on this high ground right now, maybe trying to force off these members of Deepdish.
Yeah, they just gotta find a way to dislodge them, but Brent is dead on the Lifeweaver. That's a lot of healing gone. Pull no longer able to pull Dimitri out if he overextends, and that's even less help for Obese Chicken on this Ana.
Yeah, but you see Dadmaster, they're able to pick up Astro Zerg. So again, I mean, losing that tank here early is not necessarily going to slow down Reckless Alpha here, but they are kind of playing away from the cart here at the moment, which could be, you know, some vital distance. But you do get a sleep there on Dimitri, and now Reckless Alpha might be in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, with the Doomfist going down, Deepdish no longer has their tank. As we see this dive comp, just able to try to poke a little bit on the Genji, trying to farm up that Dragon Blade as quickly as possible. Obese is dead too.
And this is looking great here for Alpha as you see Dimitri come back in, but you already lose Obi's Chicken, you already lose gold here, and now it looks like Deepdish is just going to allow them to have this first point.
Yeah, Deepdish is just going to have to back off, try to replay for this second high ground, get themselves set up early. They don't want to recontest there and get staggered because that's just going to make it way easier for Reckless Alpha to roll through, but it appears Deepdish has definitely cooled off after the halftime break. They don't seem to be as strong as they were going into the break.
Yeah, absolutely. Or it's just something where Reckless Alpha, you know, maybe figured something out there towards the end of that second map, but Dimitri immediately finds Coach to the duplicate coming out from Dadmaster, going to a Genji, trying to build up a blade themselves here, but everyone on Reckless Alpha doing a good job of just avoiding this duplicated Genji right now. Able to get close to the blade, gonna pop it off here, maybe try to find an Astro Zerg, but they're not gonna be able to here. Now they're just trying to focus on the Tracer there. Oh, Spectre who has their pulse bomb ready to go, looking for their target. They found it, they get the stick as well. That's a huge pick off.
Yeah, fantastic pick, but Dab takes him right back in kind, and that actually is going to be bigger for Deepdish as Utrala goes up top. They fall low, but they drop.
The Tree of Life does come out from Brent to kind of force them off that high ground. That tree does a lot of healing, but GLD popping the visor. Here comes the blade. It's nanoed as well. They immediately get rid of gold there, and now they're trying to find a second one. But that nice pedal, they're able to get Brent out of that one there. The blade there from Utrala only going to find one. The bomb coming out here from Astro Zerg. Not going to be able to find anyone there, but it does force Deepdish to kind of play around corners here for a moment as Dabmaster now nanoed.
Yeah, as Dab has the nano, he's going to look for something, but so far he doesn't have the kills. Dimitri is low, but going to use that Meteor Strike onto the Ana. Can it find the kill? No, it can't. They just back away.
And right now, I mean, Reckless Alpha has done a really good job so far, especially with Astro Zerg picking off Dadmaster, but, you know, Deepdish, maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board here. Doesn't seem like this comp is necessarily working here at the moment. Gold trying to melt down that mech there for Astro Zerg. Dimitri incredibly low, diving right back into the middle of this fight, but OB Chicken again falling early, followed up by Dimitri.
Yeah, good follow-up there from Chicago, or from Reckless Alpha, excuse me, but you know what? I'm not sure if this is more a case of Deepdish playing bad right now or Reckless Alpha playing really good. I'm going to say it's a little bit of both columns as Dimitri has switched over to the Diva.
Yeah, and, you know, this should help Deepdish out a lot here. Brent's so close to another Tree of Life. Probably maybe the only reason they're not swapping off with the Lifeweaver at the moment.
Yeah, the Tree of Life is a huge ult, but the problem is outside of that, Lifeweaver doesn't offer a ton, but with the tree online, we're going to see them probably look to use it to try to shut down. I'm not even sure what they're going to shut down with it.
Bomb coming out here from Astro Zerg will not find anyone with that. Dadmatch, though, duplicating here into a Diva of their own, trying to build up a bomb of their own at the moment here. Each team going back and forth. Dragon is able to get Dimitri out of their own mech here at the moment.
Yeah, with Dimitri out of mech, that's a lot of sustain gone with the tank not in play, and that's going to make it really so much easier for Reckless Alpha to try to clean up these picks.
Reckless Alpha is starting to get a couple picks here at the start of this team fight. Utrala going to be able to find gold there. Pulse Bomb coming out from Spectre. But the sleep coming out on the Spectre, but necessarily won't really do a lot there.
Yeah, it doesn't really do a lot here as Reckless Alpha is still managing to find the picks that they need to be able to push this in. As they reach almost the end, looks like they're going to finish with a 3-minute time bank unless Chicago Deepdish can do something to swing this next fight into their favor and stop the momentum here from Reckless.
And Reckless has done a great job so far. Tree of Life coming out here from Brent. Gonna try to stop some members of Reckless Alpha from coming into their spawn, but at the same time, that might stop Deepdish from going out. The Nano coming out onto Utrala, so close to a blade. Have the blade ready to go. The B coming out from Protagonist as well. Utrala immediately able to find Brent there with one slash of that blade. Able to find Obi's Chicken as well. No healing left up for Deepdish right now as Reckless trying to clean up this team fight.
Yeah, they're just trying to finish off and get the last couple of picks. Gold is going to fall, and it's just the staggers now here. And all that's left is for them to finish it off with a 2:57 time bank.
I mean, this was a great kind of rebound round here for Reckless Alpha. This is exactly what they needed, especially after what Hollywood was for them, where it basically came down to the only reason they won team fights was because of ultimates. This time they didn't need the ultimates to win team fights. They were winning them without them, and it really allowed them to play a lot more freely.
Yeah, like you said, Reckless Alpha doing a good job of just winning on the neutral, just using their teamwork and their mechanics here to execute their dives and being able to find picks. But I also feel like it was a couple of misplays from Deepdish that ended up costing them at times. Like, they made some mistakes on the Doomfist. They made a little bit of mistakes on the Lifeweaver. But for the most part, Deepdish actually didn't play that too bad for how weird of a comp that they were on for this map. It's not something you traditionally see, but what we see now for them on their attack is something you're going to more traditionally see, like this Winston Kiriko.
Yeah, and Reckless Alpha basically coming back out with the exact same thing they ran, except Protagonist coming out on the Brigida is an interesting kind of pick here. We have seen them do this on Hollywood. They didn't find, I think, any success with it there. Why do you think they're coming out with it this time again?
Well, I think it's more just, you know, for Reckless here, the Brig to try to deny this dive. It's a little different than it was on Hollywood because Deepdish is not running that poke comp. They are running a full dive. So the Brig here can get more value of just trying to protect your Ana and just being able to deny divers.
Yeah, you see Spectre here trying to get whatever they can on that high ground. Dimitri getting incredibly low as well. Dimitri diving onto the high ground right here, trying to get whatever they can. Spectre low, might be able to get taken out here.
Yeah, Spectre falls. That's going to be a lot of damage gone for them, as right now Deepdish is trying to take it back, but Dimitri is going to fall to Astrozerg.
Yeah, Dabmaster will be able to find Protagonist, so both Brigida's down here. Spectre going to fall as well, as Dabmaster kind of coming alive a little bit on this Genji. However, Astrozerg going to be able to take care of Obi's chicken, but then they'll immediately get traded back out there from gold.
Yeah, as the picks are kind of coming back and forth. It's very scrappy, but as Coach falls, that's the momentum for Deepdish as they are going to look to roll into that first point capture.
Yeah, and you do see Astrozerg coming back. Pulse Bomb ready for gold here at the moment, as you do see Spectre trying just to dance around the point. Wait for Astrozerg to maybe come back with a touch, having to recall there to keep themselves alive. Now you're seeing more of Reckless Alpha come back in here. Astrozerg will get DMX before they have that bomb ready to go. Spectre, Protagonist, and Astrozerg all be taken out there. Yatral, though, coming in, gonna be able to find one kill, but that's gonna be all that they're able to find there as Deepdish is able to cap this first point.
Yeah, getting the one pick onto the Brig is good there, but at the same time, with Deepdish capping, it's not like they're going to be on long spawn. They're going to be right there and able to regroup with their team, but that's going to delay the time that the supports can spend getting set up for this next fight, but it doesn't really matter when you have 4 ults on the board for Deepdish, including that nano boost and the primal if Dimitri gets low.
Yeah, Dimitri, I mean, it's definitely going to be a tool that they use when they are low to try to keep a team fight alive here. And, you know, just looking at the ultimates right now, Yatrala, they had a lot of success with some nano blades last round. Dabmaster, though, going to be able to pop their own here. Yatrala, though, without the blade, already finding 2 kills. However, it is Deepdish losing both their supports there, and the nano actually came out onto Protagonist.
Yeah, I think the nano onto Protagonist was just... I'm not really quite sure what that was. Like, if they were being super heavily pressured and Coach thought that they just kind of needed the extra sustain and the damage reduction to live. But popping both your support ults like that puts them at a significant disadvantage, with Deepdish having both of their support ults online.
Yeah, and you immediately see Dimitri dive on the high ground. A nice anti-nade coming out there from Obi's chicken, as now you finally see the Primal Rage come out from Dimitri, but they immediately get slept there by Coach. However, they're woken back up from it, causing them to wreak some more havoc here on the high ground. Nano coming out onto Dimitri. No Primal Rage, but that does a lot of damage. You immediately see what it does. 3 kills coming out here from the Winston. Now they just gotta get rid of Astrozerg. They do have a bomb ready to go here, but they're gonna hold onto it for the next fight.
Yeah, Astrozerg making the smart decision there with their whole team dead, not to try to pop the self-destruct there or try to get back and remech, potentially just staggering themselves worse and feeding all charge. Very smart play there to just kind of die, and now they have the bomb here, but everybody is so mobile for the side of Deepdish, it's going to be really hard to get value outside of a remech.
Yeah, you see Gold here having this pulse bomb ready to go. They get the stick, and they're able to find Coach there that time. That's huge. But Astros are picking up the bigger pick there onto Dimitri. No tank on the field for Deepdish. Gold able to find Neutrala, but Brent again falling right now. So Deepdish down a support, down a tank. Obese Chicken trying to keep themselves alive, but Spectre gonna be able to land a nice swift blink punch to be able to take them out. Gold will do the exact same thing right back to them as see Dimitri coming back into the fight.
Yeah, picks are going back and forth, but right now they're favoring Deepdish as Reckless Alpha got picked late there on Spectre, but they are currently on the Tracer, so they will have a chance to get back. And if for some reason Astrozerg does get taken out of mech, they do have the self-destruct to be able to get right back in. But right now, the only ult coming up for Deepdish is the Blade, and without the Nano Boost, they are going to have a really hard time getting value against this Brigada Diva comp.
Absolutely. Spectre still holding on to this pulse bomb. Could be deadly. However, it will be Dad Master finding Spectre Neutrala as well. The bomb coming out from Astrozerg will not be able to find anyone. And Reckless Alpha looks so good to kind of hold this part for a while, but instead, it's Dad Master picking up 2 kills and all to start to go downhill from there.
Yeah, they finally cap second, but here's the thing right now. They cannot beat the time of Reckless Alpha as there we go. They go right below it. So right now, Reckless Alpha, no matter what, if Chicago Deepdish manages to push this all the way in, is going to have a significant time advantage. But Reckless Alpha knows they need to seize back the momentum and stop Deepdish right now, or we're going to be going to extra round.
Yeah, but look at Deepdish. Because they did not have any ultimates ready to go in that last team fight, they now have 3, make it 2 as Gold used their pulse one, not able to find a kill there. Same thing with Spectre, not able to find a kill there with theirs as well. Gold, though, will find protagonists in that backline. The Nano coming out onto Neutrala right now, but Dimitri picking up Coach, Brent picking up Spectre. Neutrala will find one, but Gold gonna get rid of Astrozerg's mech there, and now both DPS there for Deepdish. Just kind of bullying Astrozerg into a corner, and Deepdish has done a good job here, getting this cart pushed pretty far.
Yeah, the late kill coming out though. Yeah, it's tank, but at the same time, Nano Blade coming out. 1 swipe, 2 swipe. People are falling over left and left like dominoes, and that should be the fight.
Yeah, and honestly, a really good 3rd point push there for Chicago Deepdish. Like you said going into it, basically 1 second after they capped, they were already down in that time bank. But to basically not stop at all there, 57 seconds that last push was. A very, very good last push there for Chicago Deepdish. And now they'll be pushing here again to start.
Yeah, with Chicago Deepdish kind of seizing the momentum back at the end of that round after Reckless Alpha kind of came out and punched them in the face early. Deepdish now does have the momentum back, but with a 2-minute time bank, it's going to be really crucial with Reckless Alpha having almost a full minute. That Deepdish gets good push here. They basically have to try to push this as far as they can and hope and pray that it's far enough and that they get a good enough hold here to deny Reckless Alpha, or we are going to end up going to a map 4.
And Reckless Alpha, like I said, that first round for them was a good kind of reset for them. And they did look pretty good on that defensive round there. That 2nd point was great for them. They were able to eat a lot of that time bank away from Chicago Deepdish. The reason Chicago Deepdish is attacking here first in overtime. And now you're seeing Chicago Deepdish come out with the exact same thing they ran on offense last time, and Alpha doing the exact same thing. Basically, both teams are pretty comfortable with what they were running at the end of that 2nd round there.
Yeah, you see like the comfort here from the teams as right now the Diva comp versus the Winston comp. Different styles, different objectives. Like the Diva's just going to try to put as much pellets into the Winston as they possibly can just to try to deny the dive and force them out.
Yeah, you see a protagonist already getting anti here on the high ground. Dimitri though sleeping, so nothing's really going to come from that there for Deepdish right now, but Deepdish still just looking for that first pick. If they get that 1 pick, you've seen what they've done in the past. It's been able to kind of snowball fights right after it.
Yeah, they just kind of have to snowball the fights and look to push through this, because if they don't, they're not going to have very much time. Like right now, Deepdish has 119 remaining, and Spectra manages to get the kill onto Gold, and that's a huge pick right there for Reckless Alpha with 1 minute left on the clock.
Yeah, absolutely, especially as you see everyone else there for Deepdish trying just to find whatever they can right now. And Dimitri falling really low there will get taken out by Neutrala, and now everything else is just starting to go downhill.
Yeah, everything's going downhill, but right now Reckless Alpha is actually playing this defense so well right now, and pretty much like right now 45 seconds left on the clock, and you kind of just have to reset right now. Dabmaster dying there is really bad with 40 seconds.
Yeah, essentially at this point for Chicago Deepdish, you're almost playing every fight here like it could be the last fight. You don't want anyone to fall here early because everything is kind of snowballed for both teams here once they find a pick. We have seen some back and forth, but it's always kind of seemed like it's leading towards once the one team finds a pick, they immediately dive onto everyone else. Anime coming out there as you see the pulse bomb come out from Spectre, does find Obese Chicken. Nano onto Astro Zerk here as Reckless Alpha wants to stop this cart push, but Gold slowly pushing this cart further.
Yeah, Gold is pushing the cart further, but it's just one Tracer. And as they do step off the cart, 3.3 seconds remaining, and they just have to try to get a touch. They got the touch, but Gold is down. It's just Dimitri on the cart, and he should fall soon after.
Katrala finds Dimitri. Here comes the Nano Blade from Dabmaster. They're desperate trying to find anything here. Won't find anything with it as the rally comes out from protagonist. Dabmaster trying to do their hardest here to keep themselves alive. Now the Blade coming out from the duplicated Katrala there. They will find one with it. Spectre finds Gold, and that might be all Deepdish gets here in overtime.
Yeah, not a fantastic push from Deepdish, but like a fantastic hold right there from Reckless Alpha. Like, it was actually just so clean, so nice. They were just doing exactly what they needed to do. They were getting the picks, and they just basically shut down any momentum that Deepdish had. Reckless Alpha played that exactly how they needed, and now they have 3 minutes, and the cart is just barely past the bridge. So this is going to be a really, really scrappy fight for both teams as they look to try to end this here. With Deepdish trying to end this map and end the series, and Reckless Alpha trying to survive for one more map.
Yeah, absolutely here. Absolutely there. And, you know, the biggest problem with Deepdish's first push there, especially at the start, was they kind of struggled to get out of the gate. Basically, they took them about half that initial time there to get out of the gate, get the cart past that choke point there. And then after that, it was just kind of cleaning up the scraps that Reckless Alpha was trying to, you know, force back in to maybe get something going there. Reckless Alpha, though, on their first attack, they did a really good job on this first point. I believe it was only 1 or 2 team fights, and they had already capped it by then. So almost 3 minutes to the time bank here. Deepdish needs to put on an excellent defensive performance here, as you are seeing them make some swaps here from what they were running on their offensive push here.
Yeah, they make a little bit of swaps trying to match that Diva. Definitely an interesting choice to mirror the Diva. I don't know how practiced Dimitri is on this Diva, or if they're more comfortable on stuff like the Winston. So it's going to be interesting to see the playstyle here as they try to shut down this dive from Reckless Alpha. But the Tracer's low. Tracer's out of blinks.
But they're able to get back into their own spawn there to get healed back up. And, you know, something I've seen in the past work on Dorado specifically has been holding in that small room there by where the cart kind of starts and just trying to eat as much time as you possibly can. However, Deepdish cannot really do that anymore, as you already see Alpha pushing about halfway to the distance it needs to go, and Astro Zerg finding the huge pick there onto Brent, and now getting rid of that Brigida there might just kind of snowball into a map win here for Alpha.
Yeah, the overwhelming force there onto Brent just ended up getting as a huge Bionade falls. That's going to hit 3, and that should actually secure it here for Reckless Alpha. All that's left are the staggers, and there's not going to be too much more of them as the cart enters the golden box of victory.
Gold was there, and you do see basically everyone else for Deepdish getting back just after Deepdish is able to secure the victory here to make it a series. Now they have started the quest to complete this reverse sweep. They just need to win the next 2 maps in a row.
Yeah, the reverse sweep is possible. It's going to take a lot of work here for Reckless Alpha after they dug themselves into the 2-0 hole, but crazier things have happened, and we could see the reverse sweep, but they got to not get ahead of themselves, and they got to kind of just take it one fight at a time and try to win each map, because if they start thinking about map 5, they will not get there if they don't focus for map 4.
Absolutely, but now the hardest part is for Reckless Alpha, you're not picking this next map. It is going over to Chicago Deepdish, and they're definitely going to try to pick something that they feel like is into their kind of play style, which throughout most of the night has been a pretty dominant poke comp. Hell, this last map, Reckless Alpha finally was able to find some kink in that armor to kind of shut it down there, force them to play the dive comp as well. But, I mean, with it being in the hands of Chicago Deepdish now, you know, I believe we're heading to a control map. What kind of map do you expect that we're going to, or what map do you expect that we're going to see Chicago Deepdish pick?
You know, I should know the map pool because I literally play in this tournament, and for some reason, I'm drawing a blank. I know it is Oasis, Antarctica. What's the other one? Ilios. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see Antarctica or Oasis here. I don't really feel like we're going to see Ilios because not a lot of teams like Ilios. And also, like, it doesn't fully lean into the style that Deepdish have liked to play so far in this series. So I'm really feeling like it's going to be Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. If it's in the map pool, I feel like that's a lot of teams' pick to go to right now when it comes to control maps. We see it a lot, and I would not be surprised to see it here either. But, you know, Reckless Alpha finally able to get that map win there. I thought map 1 might have been that map pick of New Queen Street, but, you know, about halfway through, it was Chicago Deepdish kind of taking control of that map and never really letting Reckless Alpha take back control of it. But now maybe Reckless Alpha here, building that momentum a little bit in that halftime break. You know, we were talking about that momentum. Maybe it kind of cooled down a little bit for Deepdish, and it definitely seemed like it has.
Yeah, they cooled down a little bit at the halftime break, and Reckless Alpha did take advantage of it to at least not get swept. But right now, Reckless, if they want to get back in this series, they need to focus up for map 4 because with it being Deepdish's pick, they're going to pick the control map that best suits them, and Reckless Alpha has to be prepared for that. And hopefully they've been practicing each of the control maps enough that no matter what Deepdish picks, that Reckless Alpha can be prepared.
But going back to this last map of Dorado, I mean, this was basically the first time we saw a lot of success for Reckless Alpha since New Queen Street. What was the biggest difference? What was the key thing for them here? Was it just picking a map that kind of gave Chicago Deepdish some fits because they really couldn't run that poke comp that they really have excelled on so far tonight? Or do you really just think it was just Reckless Alpha needing a little bit of time to warm up in this series?
I feel like it was a multitude of factors. I think definitely picking Dorado, a map type that suits the dive play style, was good for them. But also the halftime break giving Deepdish time to cool off definitely gave Reckless Alpha time to, you know, kind of re-examine things during the halftime break. But also, like, I feel like it was just aggression. I feel like Alpha was way more aggressive on Dorado than they've been in this whole series. And I feel like that's what allowed them to take that map, was just kind of playing at a way faster tempo.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I mean, they were playing, like you said, very aggressive, and it really seemed to give Deepdish some problems, and they didn't really respond to it well. I mean, the first point, like I said, was about 1 or 2 team fights, and that was basically it. Second point, you immediately saw them take that high ground away from Deepdish and kind of just shut them down and really, stop them there. Third point was probably the best point defense-wise for Deepdish. To do anything to kind of slow them down. But at the end, Alpha finished with almost 3 minutes in that time bank, and that made it very difficult for Chicago Deepdish to match.
Yeah, and I did get my prediction right that we would be going to Antarctic Peninsula. I am just a mind reader.
You use a lot of logic to think about what map we were going to see here. Chicago Deepdish has really shown us that they maybe want to play that Orisa Ilari BAP comp, but they have kind of, excelled on the poke comp with still a kind of fluctuating support line. We have seen the Ilari BAP, we have seen an Ana and Brig, we have seen an Ana and Lucio come out as well for them. So, that support line has fluctuated, but that tank play for Deepdish has been really well tonight. However, Alpha now has that momentum. Maybe Antarctic Peninsula is a map that they are good at as well.
Well, it might be. Like, this is a map that seems, at least in my personal scrims, have been run a lot. Like, I basically tortured myself with this map for 3 weeks to prep for week 1, knowing that it was in the pool. And actually, these teams did just play this last week because this was the starting map for week 1. So this is a team that, both teams have had some recent practice on this map, as we do see the Orisa Bapalari from Deepdish. So they're going to go back to what they know.
Yeah, and remember, we saw this same comp for Deepdish in the first map minus the DPS lineup there, and they really struggled to find anything with it. It was really when Deepdish swapped over to a Jungle Queen of their own that they were able to really get any success.
I did happen to notice a swap here for Deepdish as Flores is in now and not Brent on the Ilari, so will we see a playstyle difference from that hero?
I mean, there is the potential that, you know, even with how long Illari has been out, maybe Flores here is in Illari main. But, I mean, Brennan's been doing good throughout the night. Maybe they just want to swap some stuff up here as we get later into this series right now. But point open, no one has fallen yet. And Astros are going to try to put some havoc into this high ground right here. Will be able to find gold there with some help there from Protagonist Coach. Going to shut down Flores. And that basically will be it for this first fight. However, Deepdish able to cap point here first. And looks like Dimitri just going to try to survive as long as they can.
Yeah, Dimitri trying to survive a little bit, but it's not going to matter as we see Flores switches over to the Carico. Obese is going to be playing the Lucio. Now, this is interesting because Brent is typically a Lucio player, but Brent is out right now. So, seeing this style swap is going to be really interesting. I don't know how much Obese Chicken has Lucio in their hero pool, so we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. Gold trying to escape, but actually they're going to shut them down. Flores, though, will find Spectre there. However, now it's Dadmaster running for their life, trying to get healed up. They're going to be able to do that here as Deepdish is trying to take this angle on the other side right now. Astros, though, getting really low. Going to throw that axe and try to get something. The Suzu comes out, but oh, it goes away just at the time that axe swing comes out. Astros will eventually fall there to Dimitri, and that Kasuni Rush just a little bit too late to save their Jumper Queen.
Yeah, beautiful job actually right there, but the blade coming out, Gold takes them out with the rail shot. Back to what I was saying, a beautiful job there by Dimitri to wait out the Suzu time to be able to get the axe onto the Junker Queen and finish them off. As the final pick comes out and Deepdish will flip Reckless Alpha at 49% on the point with Beat and close to Rampage coming up.
I mean, and you know, you have to give Deepdish a lot of credit there. They had the blade come out there from Yatrala, did not find anything. The Kasuni Rush came out to try to save Astrozerg and just didn't end up saving them there. So that was in every way, Chicago Deepdish won that team fight. They won it on the scoreboard, they won it in the kill feed, they won it in the ultimates as well, forcing out some ultimates that really didn't need to be used there. As you see the Kasuni Rush coming out here from Flores, as that tries to get some aggressive play coming out, it will be immediately countered by the Beat. Here comes the Rampage out there from Astrozerg, immediately getting able to find one, make that two there as Yatrala finds a third. Astrozerg finds a third there. Obese Chicken will find one, but that might be the only thing Deepdish gets in this team fight. They do have the lead, but it'll only be for a quick moment.
Yeah, with the Rampage just coming out, the Suzu there from Deepdish just didn't manage to hit enough people to be able to completely counteract the ult, but it did delay the eventual falling of some of the team, but eventually all that did was get Deepdish a couple extra percent. But Gold here on the overclock, we're gonna look to see him try to get some kills, but Spectre has the Visor to match as the Visor is popped.
Yeah, Visor popped here early to try to maybe find an early pick off here, but Spectre not finding anything with it just yet. But it'll be Yatrala find Dadmaster. However, it's Dimitri maybe picking up the bigger kill there onto Astrozerg, and they find Yatrala as well. And now Deepdish trying to get something going here. Spectre, though, going to shut down Obese Chicken, but you do see Deepdish flip the point.
Yeah, Deepdish has flipped the point, but now the Lucio is not there. They no longer have the speed, so it's going to be all about trying to just live here and try not to get run over. As Dimitri has to use the shout to try to back out, the overclock is popped.
Overclock needs to find something here if you're Gold, but you see everyone on Reckless Alpha running away, so that Overclock not going to get any value out of it right there, other than just getting Deepdish some more percentage on the point. However, here comes the blade from Dadmaster. They immediately find Protagonist. The Katsuni Rush coming out here from Coach again, but Dimitri's shutting them down now, and now Deepdish actually looking to be in the better spot as Obese Chicken able to find one and make it a team kill here for Deepdish.
Reckless Alpha shouldn't be able to get back to the point. Protagonist and Coach died early, but I don't think they're going to get a chance to get back, as we're going to see them push up to try to deny the touch. And Lucio's dead. There will be no touch to be had.
Yeah, Flores picking up that Lucio there with some help from basically everyone on their team. A lot of swaps came out late there for Reckless Alpha to try to get back in touch in time. But, you know, we saw a couple Kasuni rushes there from Reckless Alpha. I believe we saw 3, and 2 of them were basically about a millisecond too late to find any value, or the value of just trying to save the teammate they were basically using it for. The first one was to try to save Astrozerg, didn't end up working. The second one, or the last one we saw there, was to try to save Protagonist from Dimitri, and at the end of the day, it was just an axe swing from Dimitri that shut down Protagonist and basically made that Kasuni Rush kind of a wasted ultimate there.
Yeah, we see Reckless Alpha switching over to this Diva Lucio Ana comp. This is kind of interesting because Deepdish is still on the Junker Queen here, and as I say that, Astrozerg goes over to the Winston. So this is going to be kind of interesting. Playing Winston into Junker Queen, not a friendly matchup for the tanks. Definitely going in favor of Junker Queen. With the supports having a lot of tools to be able to survive as Gold gets anti, but he's going to get healed right back up once it expires.
Yeah, you immediately see Reckless Alpha because of the comp they're running. They want to play on the slow ground, force Deepdish to come to them. You're going to see Absolute dive on that high ground, but you do see Gold pick out Vitrala here early. And now you see Gold fighting here with Absolute, who will have to fall back down to the low ground here. But you see a nice railgun shot there from Gold, and now their eyes set onto this tank. But it will be Dabmaster picking up those two on that high ground, and a great first fight here for Deepdish.
Yeah, some great picks coming out from Gold there, especially the long-range snipe on the Ana. Once that range healing goes down, Reckless Alpha doesn't really have the ability to sustain there. No ults yet on the board for either team, as that was kind of a quick fight, but the percentage is ticking up with Deepdish already at 20%.
And you're seeing some swaps come out here for Reckless. Astros are going over to the Diva. I mean, they were probably hoping that they were not going to see the Junker Queen again here from Deepdish, but they decided to stick with it because, hey, it worked for them last map, and so far it's been working for them this map. Astros needs to get a lot of value onto this Diva right now. Dabmaster trying to keep themselves alive here, diving onto that high ground here to get Astro Zerg, or to get it, force them to fall down. Now they're focusing on to Spectre right now, but look at what just the pressure coming out here from Deepdish. Already 2 kills down right now, make it 3, and while everyone else is going after Dabmaster there for Alpha, everyone else is just going to the spawn room instead.
Yeah, Dabmaster kind of just the sacrificial lamb here. They're going to look to get Astrozerg. Astrozerg trying to get out, but they're going to run into the whole team. They're going to lose their mech.
Not what you wanted to see there, and if you're Deepdish, don't focus on Astrozerg here. I don't think there's any point on the map they can jump off of, so they have to engage in this fight or run back to spawn and give up all that ult charge. And at this point in the map, oh well, actually there is a spot where you can jump off the map. I did not know that.
Yeah, I actually didn't know either that there was a reset point here, but that's a lot of time gone as Deepdish is now ticking up to 80% here. We're in one fight territory and Yatrala is dead.
Yeah, and this has not been the round that Reckless Alpha has been looking for. However, it's the round that Dabmaster, the coach for this Deepdish team, has been looking for here. 2 kills there, the Nano coming out on the Astro Zerg, but it's Obese Chicken finding coach, and now Reckless Alpha starting to cap this point a little bit. Bomb coming out here from Astro Zerg, not going to be able to find anyone, and they're not going to be allowed to get back into their mech either. However, a silver lining here is Reckless Alpha able to actually cap the pointer, but be quickly flipped over, and oh, a nice railgun shot there from Gold.
Yeah, with the reflip here, it's just Moira alive. Final percentage taking away. Deepdish is going to just try to look to clean this up to finish off the victories. All that's left is the staggers here, but they do not have enough sustain to be able to try to live this. There goes the ball. The ball is going to fall, and that, with it, goes the hopes and dreams of Reckless Alpha.
I mean, there's still a hope as long as someone's alive and touching the point. Down goes Protagonist, down goes Spectre. Now you're seeing Coach come back. They'll only touch for a moment. Yatrala's back, but again, it's only a moment before 2 swift punch kills there from Obese Chicken will end this series in a 3-1 favor for Chicago Deepdish.
Yeah, we said before this map started that Deepdish was having to pick a map that benefits their playstyle. They didn't get to play the Orisa comp like they wanted, but they were getting great success out of the Junker Queen. They literally pulled the comp out of Reckless Alpha's playbook and found incredible success with it on that map.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they talked about that. They have been practicing that Orisa Bapillari comp, and the 2 times we saw it here tonight, it got shut down pretty fast. So again, they're still working on it. They're hoping to bring it out here and find success. However, like you said, that mirror match that they forced out there, or at least the tanks forced out, really ended up helping them out in the end, because it seemed like Reckless Alpha didn't necessarily know how to stop what they were running themselves there. And while Reckless Alpha did look good at the start of that first point, they just weren't really able to make any sort of progress back up after we saw the mirror match come out.
Yeah, I thought after we got through Dorado that Reckless Alpha had the momentum in their favor, but Deepdish, on their map choice, just ended up shutting it down and saying, okay, we don't want to play anymore. Let's end the series right here, right now, and let's all get off this game.
Yeah, they're saying, they're looking at their watch saying, it's 10:15. I don't want this to last very much longer, guys. But I mean, hey, this was a good performance here for Deepdish. They struggled at times and looked great at times. Week 2, still a lot of time for these teams to, improve upon their play styles here. Reckless Alpha, I mean, 1-1 after 2 weeks. you know, not the worst start, not the best start either, but probably a start they will take here, especially going up against a team like Deepdish that you said won the preseason tournament for the Ascendant tier here. So again, a team that is known to be really good coming into the season, still, you know, keeping consistency on their side here. Reckless Alpha, though, they have a lot they can probably go back and learn from tonight, because they were at times just outclassed here.
Yeah, they were, but honestly, like, it's kind of hard to keep up with a team like Deepdish. They are one of the stronger teams in the Ascendant tier, and I get the feeling that a lot of teams are going to struggle to keep up with them this season. But you know what? Great win for Deepdish, and Reckless Alpha, even in defeat, you did have some good moments, like especially under Rado. So there's a lot that you can learn from this. So, but I think that will end up doing it all for us tonight. Make sure once you guys are rid of us, that you guys go check out the Tranquility 2 stream, where Blacklist is currently down 1-2 on Revitalizes. They're getting ready to play Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah, I mean, make sure you guys go over there once this stream ends. Like he said, sounds like that series is still going to be a very exciting one. Want to give a quick shout to everyone behind the scenes here who got all the angles you saw here tonight. Rhino, Boom, Hippie, Knock on Wood, Little Joe, and our producer, MayLu, as well as Nick. Sorry about that, Nick. I forgot about you there. But, you know, we had a whole squad here tonight. They did a great job putting on the show that y'all watched here tonight. But that will do it for us here on the A stream. B stream still going on, like Clock said. But that will do it for us here tonight. I've been Dexatron. That was Clock. I hope you all have a great night, and see you tomorrow.